All right, the plan for this one is simple, everybody. We're going to be taking a look at 3 laps that were happening last week in the final race of Porsche Cup week at Monza. We're going to be taking a look at my 152.048 as well as Carlos 151.097, and then we'll wrap things up by watching my lap once again. The plan is going to be basically to watch through my lap in its entirety, giving some basic commentary on it. We'll watch Carlos' lap, talk a little bit about what we see in his lap, in their lap compared to mine, and then we'll wrap things up by watching my lap one more time and seeing if we can glean any extra insights on what we could do better in the future. Obviously, we're going to be having to take this to the future in other tracks, but I think it's going to be things that should translate pretty well. But why don't we get things started off with my 152.048 here at Monza. Alright, let's kick things off nice and smooth as we start our lap here at Monza, hurtling down towards turn 1. Always took this one very cautiously throughout this week. I think there's definitely a lot of time I left on the table, and I'm expecting a lot of the time that I do have to come into very specific instances across the lap, but we will see as time goes on. But one of those is definitely going to be turn 1. Another thing I'm interested to see is through turn 3, the long right-hander following the first chicane. I kind of hugged the middle of the road to try and open it up as much as possible, but I'd be interested to see if maybe you need to, open up maybe a little more to hug it a little bit tighter type of situations. But we will see. Time will tell. I do feel like I got through this complex pretty decent, albeit a couple of missed apexes barely, but in terms of the grand scheme of things, it was some of my better options. And I think the exit coming out of the second Lesmo, I think, was one of my weaker moments as well. Just really struggling with the confidence to jump in and really attack the apex and kind of get a good exit out of it. I think I played it very, very safe through there, which at the end of the day, I'm always going to choose being safe over anything else. And then here, as we exit Ascari, heading down towards Parabolica for the first time here in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the line we take through Parabolica, because I think there was a lot of instances in which I took Parabolica correctly, and then a lot of instances over the course of the week which I really messed it up. I think this is one where I kind of hugged the middle line of that, but we will see when we take a look at Carlos' lap. But as we round out our final corner, we'll start to beeline it towards the line, and there it is, a 152.0 effectively. So let's go ahead, let's load up the pole lap and get a look at what they did versus what I did. Alright, here we are jumping on board with Carlo, and I think we're going to see the biggest difference already in the line that they take to start his lap, where they run it all the way to the outside, which is something I played with a little bit in practice sessions, but never really did in a qualifying session, which now that I'm looking at it really makes a lot of sense, because you just get that extra speed. Also, not braking until maybe like the 160 mark is definitely, I was correct in assuming that it was definitely very much all about where you brake going into 1 and the confidence you can have in it. I was definitely playing it very safe. Braking potentially, I think the latest I ever broke into 1 was the one about 190 mark. Oh, very late into this one as well. If you can hear it, very good at holding the gas through the second chicane as well. Very late entry into this one. It's kind of what I always wanted to do, but never was really able to get down there in qualifying. Honestly, not as dissimilar as what I would have expected going through the second Lesmo. Honestly, not a whole lot of it really is too different, I would say. I think there's definitely some things in here. Definitely the momentum. Oh, very late on the brakes through here, actually. Very late through the brakes on there. Ooh, really pushing the tires as well. I think I really took a safe line through Ascari compared to that. I compared it to that. Now down towards Parabolica. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Relied a lot more on engine braking. Also broke about 20 to 30 meters later than me as well. And then hugs the line to the finish, right? 151.0. That is what a second faster looks like. But now I think I want to watch my lap again, and I think we'll really start to see the differences now in terms of what we see. All right, watching our lap once again. You can see here, not using all of the track to start the lap. You know, you can see that we kind of push it out a little bit, but at the same time, not really. I think this is the downside to where you set a banker lap and you kind of really want to hug that inside line anyway. So I think this is definitely, we are down on speed, losing precious tenths or so. We brake right as we crossed the 200 board, where they were braking very near the 150. In terms of getting through 1 and 2, I think that's pretty okay. Going through the next right-hander, I don't think is too bad either. I think we could potentially try and open up the corner a little bit on exit here to try and, you know, continue to build the speed up without having to scrub the tires as much. Braking much earlier, slowing down a lot, really trying to be smooth. Honestly, not terrible. But this is the first instance of really the big difference. We turn in very early comparative to Carlo's lap, which I think really doesn't allow us to get on the power through the exit of Lesmo 1. And then Lesmo 2, we kind of take the curb, and I think we kind of just shunt it at the corner more than trying to drive through it. And so definitely lost a lot of momentum going through here. And at this point now, we just hug the right, probably extending the line a little bit too much. Again, braking very early comparatively, being very smooth. And now I think here I lift slightly to try and keep the car hugged to the right. And I think with just the lack of momentum and not realizing the tires can actually take it going through Ascari. And I think you had noticed that all week, which is just a lot of people were much, much faster through Ascari than I was. I was definitely playing it very extra safe. Braking a little earlier into Parabolica. Actually getting pretty decent rotation, not too unhappy with that. I think that was definitely an instance where we could have turned in maybe even a fraction later, got on the power fraction earlier, and gone on our merry way. But guys, that's what a second faster looks like around Monza. Crazy, I know.